I used to be incredibly cheap. I wouldn't go out to eat. I would never buy anything. I thought that I had to save every single penny that I ever earned, really until I learned this. First, let me take you to when I first got my job with George Gammon. I moved out to Scottsdale, Arizona, and we were working. We didn't really go out too much, but when we would, every single time I'd go out with him, he'd pay for everything. One time we went to an MMA fight, or it was like a junior MMA league, and he got us front row tickets. There was like 7 of us, and he paid for every single person. And now, since I've come to hang out with him, every single time I went out with him, he'd pay for every single person, no matter what. He'd never even question, "Hey, maybe we should split this bill or anything." And I one day I asked him, like, "Dude, how the hell are you paying for all this? I know you're not making $1 million a month right now. What the fuck's going on?" And he was like, "Why do you want to get rich?" I was like, "Well, I want to have maximum freedom. I want to be able to do whatever I want whenever I want." He said, "Yeah, that's what I'm doing." He said, "Once you get past a certain income," and he said, "That's different for everybody." He said, "Just stop looking at the price. If you want to do something, do it. And that should be the goal to where you want to get to." And he said, "As long as I have X amount in my savings or portfolio account," he said, "I know that I can live off that savings for the rest of my life. And as long as I still have that, I can spend anything else that I make, because that's why I want to get rich, so I could have fun and do what I want to do." And I remember thinking, like, "Holy shit!" My it took me a good maybe 6 months after that until I really started to be able to put that in practice, because I learned continuous lessons along the line. He said, "You will stop caring how much money you spend when your confidence in your ability to make more money increases directly with it." And now I am comfortable spending really any amount of money to go to whatever opportunity that I want. If I go to dinner with my girlfriend or my mom or anyone, I usually try and pick up the tab. And I would never used to do that. I used to like pant and sweat. And I think that's a really bad habit, because that kind of shows that, hey, you don't trust yourself to make enough money to do anything. And I was just always so impressed with how he handled those situations, and that is something that I really want to learn. So now all I care about is, how can I make more money? And let me increase my earning potential and let me increase my income. Therefore, it doesn't matter how much money I spend. I try and spend a lot of my money on different resources. Like next week, I'm going to St. Bart's and the Bahamas for different events where I'll be meeting up with different kinds of people and learning as much as possible. That's really how I would like to spend the next few years while I have no responsibilities, spending my money to increase my earning potential in the future, so then I never have to worry. I'm going to call out my buddy Luke here for a moment, because he used to be the cheapest bastard that I'd ever met. He still is to a lot of extent, but it has dwindled down a lot. I remember when we first met, he had the same pair of socks, the same tank tops, the same beat up shorts, uh, just torn to shreds, every single thing that he owned. And I was thinking, "Dude, get some new stuff." And he's like, "No, you got to stack your stats." He's talking about Bitcoin. He's like, "You got to save every single dollar in Bitcoin, because that's going to equal X amount of dollars in the future." And I was like, "So what? Just increase your income and then you have nothing to worry about." And now, thankfully, he's making a lot more money because he's doing a lot better. But that is deeply rooted within us. And actually, I was out with my dad once, and we were meeting with somebody, and my dad has no money. He's dirt broke. And the people that we were meeting with, they just got back sailing from their like 70-foot yacht. Like, these guys were loaded to an extent that it is hard to imagine. They have a few houses over the US, and they asked to split the bill with my dad. And it was like a fucking $50 like lunch. And I just remember thinking, "What the fuck? If you have that kind of money, why would you do that?" Especially when you know for a fact this guy doesn't have any money. It, I just I could see that that is the progress of some people's lives. Because if you act incredibly broke and frugal all the time when you're poor, that really won't change when you're rich. Well, a lot of poor people, they spend like they're rich. That's not the right thing to do either. I just don't think living in constant fear of, if you lose X amount of dollars, you will never be able to recover, is the wrong way to go about it, because that doesn't solve the root of the problem. The root of the problem is you are not making enough money to live the lifestyle that you want to achieve. And I'm willing to work as hard as possible so I can live the freest possible lifestyle that I want, to where I have complete freedom of time, to where I can buy anything that I want. I don't have to look at the price. I can do the things that I want to be able to do. And I know if I can accomplish those things, then I would not be frugal at all. And that shift in mindset really only changed because I saw what this guy was doing. Before that, I actually thought it was good to save every single cent that you earned. Just ask yourself, this is a genuine question. Why do you want to make money? And if you say, well, I don't, there's no real end goal that I would care about, then that shouldn't be your goal. I don't care about money at all. What I care about is freedom. And I care about freedom to the most remarkable extent possible. The freedom from my government, freedom as a sovereign individual, freedom in being able to do whatever I want to, freedom as in, hey, I'm out to dinner right now and the steak and the chicken looks good. Why don't I just get both of them? That is still a version of freedom. Right now, I don't do that because I can't. And that is why I would want to make as much money as I possibly can. Then it really comes down to how can you increase your income? And that goes down to acquiring new skills. So right now I'm spending probably 70% of the money that I make acquiring new skills, whether that is learning new things via paying for additional information services or going to the events that I'm going to next week. That is spending a very high percentage of my income. And it is actually draining my bank account almost to zero. But that doesn't even flinch because I know that the opportunity is worth 100 times that. And so before, I actually used to think about turning down those types of opportunities because I thought they were too expensive. But now I think the real expense is not taking those opportunities because the information that you don't learn by not going is a huge future expense. This is a shitty video, but pumping them out because I have 1,000 more to do. Goodbye.